G'day. It's been a while since the last update. You would have just seen a clip of the Jeep and its engine running for the first time since this engine has been rebuilt. I'm showing you a bit of a look around now at how it sits, and never fear, the wheels are off, but things are still on track. So with that successful first start of the engine, we've now hit the point where I can now check the vehicle over for roadworthiness and get any fixes needed before it has to go through its inspection to get back on the road. So how did the first start go? Well, in short, brilliant. No issues with oil pressure. It's fired up within about 5 seconds after priming the fuel pump and the oil pressure system, or the oil pump. We bled the cooling system, and that ran nice and hot. Bled it through the bleed valve right there, and we used a spill-free funnel, which made light work of the cooling issues, and even though it was bleeding cooling systems is always messy, that made it a bit better. And the only issue I had was one of the Y pipe exhaust manifold bolts or studs sheared off, and I had to replace that due to the start. Must have been a manufacturing defect, but that's all good now. Got a battery in place, and I've started to do the task needed to get it roadworthy. So the first task I did was get the windscreen in place. The next task I'll need to do is just dehaze those front lights. I fitted the bumper up, and surprisingly these Jeep plastics are pretty good because none of the tabs are broken and all the clips were fine. So that attached up really well. I'll give you a quick look at the mileage because I've seen it for the first time with the battery now in. I bought this car without ever driving it, so for the first time I can see the mileage is 275,189 kilometers, which is pretty good. I think it's about 160,000 miles. And I can talk you through a bit about what we're doing here. So the wheels are off, and I've just been checking the brakes and suspension to check for roadworthiness. Mind the surface rust, but there's heaps of pad life in there, and I measured the brake discs up with a vernier caliper, and they've got heaps of life left in them, so that's all really good. Looks like I've discovered that the shock absorbers have been replaced at some stage in the car's life. They look pretty new, and they're an aftermarket brand, so that's pretty good. And looks like some of the bushings have actually been replaced by poly bushings too. But everything actually in the suspension system checks out pretty good as far as my amateur eyes tell me, which is awesome. So that's a really good surprise. All the lights have lit up and worked fine, so I've tested that. And my next step will be, after dehazing the fog lights, I'll probably take it for its first road test. I'll put the bonnet back on and take it for its first road test. But I've just bred the brakes, and that's turned out pretty well. It looked like this car's been actually pretty well serviced throughout its life, with the suspension in good nick, and even the air filter that was existing in the car when I bought it was brand new. And the brake fluid was pretty much clean as well. I replaced it anyway because it's been a couple of years, but it was pretty much fresh brake fluid too. So all pretty good signs for this one. So fingers crossed the next time you see it, the bonnet will be on, and we'll see if my amateur mechanic skills have successfully detected what it needs for roadworthy. I'm hoping it's just the hazy lights, and then otherwise hopefully it'll pass with flying colours, but we'll see once the mechanic sees it what they recommend doing for the inspection. So that'll be in the next video. Hopefully you'll see it with plates on and see it running, and then we can sum up how much rebuilding this Jeep's 4.7 litre engine actually cost and whether it was worth it. See you next time.